everybody, it's When We Feel Like the Clock. I'm Pearlo, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Coming to you live from Helen's Place. And as you can see, I'm all by myself. I'm all by my lonesome. Peyton couldn't do it today. Peyton has got school stuff to do. Pardon me. Joe has a live go of his own going on tonight. He's got his first inaugural. Inaugural means like yearly though, doesn't it? I don't know. But anyways, his premiere. There we go. His premiere live tonight, where he's going to be doing all sports. He's doing everything. It's between for those that are here, go to Sports Fanatic News, sign up there with him, and you can watch his live show tonight between 6 and 8 o'clock, I believe, Eastern. So he'll be there for that. Besides that, you guys, we are together, so we can banter on all day if you want. It's just you and me and the world. Just you and me and the world going at it today. So we can talk about whatever hockey you want to talk about, anything you want to talk about at all. I'm having coffee. So what did I want to talk about? Here's the difficult thing though. When I switch on to my other stuff to talk about the games, I no longer can see. I'm gonna have to turn it on here. That's what I'll do. Like, there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. There's a will, all right. I'll tell you that right now. So will. Somebody come on and say hi, so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Just say hi. Say hi, please. Hi. Hello. Say hello. Hey, Pearlo. Where's everybody else? Okay, I didn't tell you who else. John from Off the Wall Hockey. He's going to be doing live shows in the evenings this week, all weekend. He's got tons of stuff, so he's taking a bit of a break. Steele from Steel Flyers. He's running the whole Steel Flyers Network.com, www.steelflyers.com, the All Sports Network, you know. He's doing all of that stuff, so he's very busy right now. So it's just me and you guys, and that's good. Jacket, how you doing, buddy? So Jacket, it's going to be me and you and the world, and whoever else comes on here. What do you got? What do we got? Let's talk about, what are we going to talk about? We'll talk about, the problem is, okay, now I can see what you're saying. Okay, I'm going to go over and look at tonight's stuff, or we'll look at last night's stuff. We'll start off with the Islanders game, if you want. If you don't want, let me know, because I'll talk about whatever the heck you want. But Islanders game was pretty predictable game. If I can get it up there, if I could show you. It won't come up. I can't. I hate this. Okay, I gotta do my NHL thing again. That was a pretty predictable game. Buffalo just has no heart. As simple as that. They need to get, like, losing O'Reilly to them was the most ridiculous thing that could ever happen. That just can't be stated enough. The Sabres losing or getting rid of O'Reilly because of what he said that one time, whatever that was, shows you what kind of an organization they are. They had no heart last night at all. The Islanders do what they normally do, especially if they score 2 in the first period. They just shut her down. And for a team, yeah, you got the parlay yesterday. Yeah, that was a good one, eh? I'm 8 for 5 on 8 for 13 on parlays this year. 8 correct, 5 incorrect. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well. But yesterday they shut down Buffalo, and Buffalo had no pushback at all. Yeah, you know what? Let's go talk about that. Why not? Since you're there, talking about that. Just like the Buffalo Sabres had no pushback, at least Buffalo had a whole lot of players out of their lineup. They were playing with, Borgen and Irwin and guys like that on defense. McCabe was back last night though, but and then Carter Hutton in net, which is never a good thing. Although he wasn't really the whole problem there. Sorokin, was that his first win? I don't know if he got his first win last night. It was certainly, it was a shut. It was his first shutout for sure. He looked really good. But the Rangers, there's something seriously wrong there. You cannot lose to a New Jersey team, that hadn't played in 15 games. You just can't lose that game. Simple as that. I know they had Panarin out, but you got to have more legs than that against that team. How do you get outworked by a team that hadn't played in 15 games? So, yeah, I had the Rangers all day on that. I had a little bit of trepidation because Lindy Ruff is an awesome motivator, but did you see Colorado play against Vegas the first game? They played the best that they possibly could, and they looked like they were playing in quicksand. The New York Rangers have to take advantage of that spot, and the fact that they didn't concerns me. Like, that's sort of like a defining game there for the New York Rangers. I had them as possibly the surprise team this year, and that's the thing. On paper, they probably should be, but they're not there. I would say right now that Quinn's got to be looking over his shoulder here. You're not seeing enough pushback from that team to be able to justify your position as a coach. So, just sorry. I mean, if I'm an owner or a general manager of the New York Rangers right now, I'm looking over in New Jersey going, why didn't we get Lindy Ruff? Jeez. Obviously, he can motivate his guys. That's a young team over there, too. You could say it's a young team that doesn't even really have as much talent as the Rangers do. Now, Blackwood did play well, and of course, Blackwood's going to be a big story in New Jersey and has been all year. But that's a marker game for me if I'm the Rangers. That's a wake-up call. The next game is probably even bigger than this one. Yeah, everybody keeps waiting for the Rangers, and that was sort of the game where I don't have much confidence now. Same as kind of Vancouver as well against Calgary the last game. They're going to be going to going to Calgary and playing tonight. That game against Calgary, they had to win that. Now I know they pulled out the point. We'll see what they do tonight. But I gotta go with Calgary on that. New Jersey plays D, yeah. But, I mean, they got a lot of players. Let's go to that game. Like, they also had a lot of hurt players. They had a lot of guys that weren't available for that game. They had Ryan Murray was out because he had the sniffles, apparently. He didn't have COVID. Just wasn't feeling, just not really. Got a little achy. Murray's like that, it seems. He's Kulikov, Zajac was out, and Nico Hischier. So they had a lot of guys playing that normally wouldn't be playing in that game. Why does it keep on doing this? Show me the scores. There we go. Okay. Who did they have in there? We'll go look it up. We'll look at the box score. I was looking at it. Merkley got a goal and assist. Their big line last night was Kaukinen, Merkley, and whoever was on that side with them, which I don't even know who it was. Maybe Wood. They beat you last night. Those three actually beat you last night. That's they seem to play D, or they seem to need D. Yeah, the schedule will go back to, well, I mean, assuming we don't have more COVID stuff going on. But besides that, I think the schedule will go back to normal next year. Yeah. I kind of wish it wouldn't because I love this I love this rivalry type play, and I love this playing 5 games in like 5 games in a row against a team, especially like a rival team. It's friggin' awesome, but it's not going to happen. There's too much travel, um, uh, too many times that you're not seeing other teams in the league, and you would think you make more money if you have rivalry games because you're going to fill the building. Some ways you do. Um, However, you'd be surprised how much money you make off of merch when you have teams that come in like Pittsburgh Penguins. Like the teams in the West would really lose money if they didn't have the Pittsburgh Penguins come in once or twice a year. Uh, because people love Crosby and they sell jerseys and stuff like that. So for that reason, I mean, it's going to go back as well. Um, Not to mention, you couldn't have a Canadian division like this. Is way too much travel. Oh my gosh. What will make for dull playoffs? Oh, I gotta share this live. That's right. What would make for dull? This format? No, I don't think so. Maybe when the later rounds it might, because you're not gonna have. But in the early rounds, no. Like when if you get Montreal, Toronto, uh, Calgary, Edmonton, assuming Edmonton makes the playoffs, which I'm really not. I'm really doubting quite a bit now. Um, Teams like that, Pittsburgh, Philly. Wow. When's the last time we saw Pittsburgh, Philly play in the playoffs? I think the playoffs are going to be absolutely fantastic in the early rounds. But in the later rounds, it's usually not really a rivalry either. So especially when you get to the Stanley Cup Finals. So yeah, I think it's going to almost guarantee that there's a lot of rivalry series. So I don't think it's going to be boring at all. What makes you think it would be boring? What makes you think it would be boring? No, yeah, I don't think it's going to be boring at all. Sure, I'm just sharing this live around, trying to get more people back into the environment here. Let's see. Do. Well, I think that would make it actually even better because they're going to hate each other. They're going to hate each other by the time the end of the season. I think you're going to see like some pretty intense playoffs. I think you'll actually see like back in the old days when you had fighting in playoffs. Yeah, I think they're really going to just hate each other. I have a feeling that that's the way it's going to be. But going back to the Rangers again, I just that team concerns me. When we saw in the playoffs last year, they Quinn seemed to get them motivated at the end of last year in the regular season, um, and ever since then, he seems to have lost them or something. I don't know what's going on. Sabanajad can't score. You had the whole problem with D'Angelo there. Maybe he handled that poorly. I thought that once D'Angelo was gone from there, that things would start to change energetically there for the New York Rangers. But it actually has gotten worse. It almost makes me wonder that maybe that the teammates might have that there might have been something there we don't know about that maybe the teammates were like, well, D'Angelo didn't really do anything that bad. Something's wrong. Something's wrong in that room. Something's wrong there somewhere. I think that I really think Quinn's gonna is on the hot seat. I really do. And I was concerned when they hired Quinn because you're hiring a college coach that has never had NHL experience to take after rich kids. These aren't college kids that might make it, you know. These aren't most of the kids in college. Yeah, by myself. That's no, I'm not by myself. You guys are here. I'm really I like this. You guys, I can talk whatever you guys want to talk about. You guys just ramble on. But when they hired Quinn, it just, I mean, he must have been something special, and I'm sure he is, because you're hiring a guy who's never worked with NHL rich players. Let's face it, very wealthy, uh, elite veterans. He's never worked with veterans at all. His veterans were still kids, 22-year-old kids that were experienced for college, but he's never worked with veterans that have been in the league a long time. He wasn't a player himself. He hasn't really earned respect when he walks in the room. He's got to find a way to get that respect. And it seems like maybe he didn't there. I don't know. Things could turn around here, but I think there's a big magnifying glass on Quinn right now in that organization because I know I'm pretty positive they thought that the Rangers were going to be better than what they're showing so far. Which franchise would I feel more pressure from? That's a good question because it's from two different places. Like the Leafs, it's the pressure of, you always have this. You're supposed to be the center of the universe of hockey, let's face it. And I don't even know why they say that because Montreal should be. But it's because Toronto's the more corporate central place in Canada. You have there's corporations that are reliant on the Toronto Maple Leafs to do well for their personal income. So in that sense, I'll go with Toronto because there are more avenues where the pressure is on the whole organization, not even just the players. As far as I guess you would say emotionally is concerned, or spiritually even maybe, I would say Montreal because in Montreal when you don't win, like it deeply hurts the fan base. I'd say even more than Toronto. There's tears in the streets when Montreal doesn't win. You know, I would say that the Montreal Canadiens, from what I've seen, I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. I would say that the Montreal Canadiens are more emotionally involved in hockey and their team than the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's saying a lot because I think Leaf fans are very emotionally involved too. Just like anywhere else in Canada, we are emotionally involved with the game. But I don't think anybody gets actually hurt more than Montreal Canadian fans when they lose. Um, it's a religion there. Like it seriously is a religion. It's probably more of a religion than any religion than they have. Um, yeah, so in that way, maybe the pressure is that way. The Blues and Coyotes series, yeah. I mean, the great thing about that series has been, to me anyways, the Berube Talkett clash of coaches. You know, they both played together, they respect each other a lot. Extremely competitive. I can pretty much assure you Berube is steaming inside that they lost that series. Um, and I think he knows that there's some things that have to change in that organization energetically. They have to overcome the loss of Peter Angelo here. I think that's the main issue. Um, that he was a leader there in such a way that it seems to have really affected that team. As far as Rick Tocchet is concerned, he I mean he doesn't have Peter Angelo on that team. Who does he have that's like a Peter Angelo on that team? Nobody really. And right now, at the end of that series, Rick Tocchet comes out as the better coach. He's winning. He brought a bunch of on paper. St. Louis should have won that series. On paper, St. Louis has more guys that are known for scoring than Arizona does. Let's face it. Now, there are a lot of teams. It's Arizona surprising people with players coming to the forefront like Garland, uh, Dvorak, um, and to a lesser extent Keller because he was always expected to score. But seriously, on paper and past history, St. Louis should be winning that series, even though they're on the road. Krug looks like he's good. I mean, every time I've watched him play, he's playing like Krug does. He's not playing any less than Krug. Um, Especially when you consider he just went in there. Actually, Falk has looked good. They have guys on there. Falk seems to be the new energy guy for Peter Angelo, and I understand that because he is quite the leader. He's a character, and he can bring a lot to a team. Uh, the problem I think is that um, it's just still something missing. And Peter Angelo seems to be it. He's just not. It's not fair for either one of those guys to become Peter Angelo. So as a whole, they got to find some people to step up in the leadership roles there in St. Louis and become bigger leaders. Yeah, Steele's amazing, and that website, my friend, is growing. It's going to be absolutely incredible. As it grows and gets bigger, and we start getting football, basketball, and all of that going on there, we're going to have more guys like me doing this all through the day and talking about every sport and doing lives like guys like what John does so well with his commentating and stuff like that. Joe's live, which is going to be on tonight, which will be amazing. And Peyton, when he gets done school, he's going to have his program. And it's just going to continue with more people coming in. Next week, um, I can't tell you, but I've got a very big guest coming on my show next week. Very big, very well known guest that it's pretty cool. We're going to have more and more stuff like that. We're going to have big name people that are in the industry, that are in the NHL, all of that coming on here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Um, so anyways, looking If you look at, if you go to Friends of Steel Flyers, you should be able to look up Joe's stuff and it should go up there. You're the big guest, yeah. Yeah, well, you would be a big guest, but have you gone? You just keep on talking to Steele. You never know what happens there, but because it all has to go from them. You know what? That's funny you brought up Eric Carlson because when I signed that contract, I had a feeling that the whole idea was, and they knew that Eric Carlson's career was going to be cut short eventually with that foot. So that contract would end up going on the books as injury reserve. And I think that's kind of the whole point of why they signed that contract. We'll watch to see if that happens, but I'm almost positive that's exactly what's going to happen there. Is Carlson will, in the next year or two, retire because of that foot. That was pretty cray-cray what Eric Carlson did in that playoffs for Ottawa when he played with that foot. It was probably pretty stupid. Shortened his career like crazy. It was, I guess you would want to say heroic, but not wise for sure. I'm almost positive that the doctors were telling him like this is not a wise move for you to be doing something like this. So do I think he's going to recover? My answer would be no, I don't. I mean, maybe now he might. He'll come back and play and stuff like that. But in the long run, from what I heard about what that injury and him playing with that injury, if all those things are not just some sort of lore or fabrication, then I think it's going to affect him his whole career. You'd, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, that was a lot of money to give. I think they've. I think the Sharks knew they had a short window, and if they had any window at all, they keep Carlson for the short window that they had, and if it doesn't work out, he'll go on the long term IR. Yeah, he'll go on LTIR. I'm pretty sure. That's what I think will happen. And then once that happens, maybe Burns will decide to try or somewhere to get his cup. I think that's possible. I think if they retain salary, that they could get something back for Burns. Coacher, like I think they're really looking. They're gonna this after this year. That I don't think there's much choice. That they're gonna have to look rebuild. Uh, and that could be a really long rebuild, unfortunately. Um, Bad spot for them to be in. There's not much there to be able. I mean, you watch the San Jose Sharks. There's nobody that's management. And Wilson knows hockey. He's watching the San Jose Sharks right now, and he knows that they're just not good enough. They don't have enough defense. There's no way to add. So, well, let's look it up since it's just us today. Uh, San Jose Sharks. It's long. They got way too much. 1, 2, 3, 4 more years. Oh my gosh. How old is he? 35. 4 more years at $8 million a year. I don't know what they're gonna do. I seriously don't know. I can't see anybody taking that contract. I mean, how much money do you eat off of that? You got to eat like 4 million for the next 4 years to get rid of them and get anything in return. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't even really blame Wilson for it. Wilson wanted to rebuild long before he did, but he couldn't convince Thornton and Marlowe to waive their no trade clauses until they weren't going to get anything for him anyways. So it really was just there wasn't really much Wilson could do. I don't really blame him. He knew it was coming. Now, even after he wanted to trade Thornton and he took the C off of him and gave it to Marlowe. Is that what it was, or something like that, or gave it to Couture? Even after that, they did make it to the finals. Um, but he saw the writing on the wall early. Like, how can you blame Wilson for everything? The only thing you can blame him for is the Carlson contract. And again, my thinking is that it had gone so far that he had no choice but to keep on trying to roll with what they got, knowing that it was going to be an absolutely tragic rebuild. And it's going to be a tragic rebuild. It's going to be a devastating rebuild for them. CL, how you doing, buddy? It's just me by myself today, so we're talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. Right now, we're talking about San Jose's rebuild and how that's going to look, and I think it's going to look. I mean, if whoever goes in there, if it's Wilson or whatever, if they can turn that around in 5 years, they're doing freaking awesome. If there was ever a rebuild, besides maybe Pittsburgh Penguins one, and I think you can make a case that the Pittsburgh Penguins might be in a little better spot. They got a couple more players that they can get some return from. Where San Jose doesn't really. I mean, they got to trade Couture. They got to trade Myers, I mean, he's still young. There's no need to trade Myers, but you almost might as well. Just totally scorch, nothing left, like you're an expansion team rebuild, and collect firsts for the next 5 years. They really have no choice. uh, whose contract do you trade first? I mean, yeah, you might as well take like Burns' contract's got 4 more years left. You might as well retain 4.5 million because you're not going to need to hit the cap for the next 5 years anyways. And if you can even pull a second rounder out of it, then at least you got something. Carlson, like you said, I think he goes to a long-term injury reserve. And then maybe you could use that contract to trade away to get some return. Carlson's more valuable on the LTIR because there's probably a team that's going to need to get under the cap, and they could use Carlson's LTIR to get under it, and you might be able to pull, a pretty decent draft pick out of that. And then as far as Kane would be the first one to go, I think. I think Kane's got a no trade clause though, doesn't he? I'm sure he does. And he loves it in San Jose too. Yeah, he's got a no movement clause. So I mean, if you look historically at what Kane has done, you don't get much return for him because he's very picky at where he'll go. Yeah, I never really was a LeBanc guy, anyways. I didn't like him as much as a lot of people did. LeBanc is one of those guys that you just happen to love because he has a physical stature that shouldn't be in the league, but he's he's tough for his size, and he keeps on grinding it out there. Not to mention he probably is a great guy outside of the rink, but. I was saying before when he had that one really good season, I can't remember how many points he got. I'll look it up here. LeBanc. They signed him for 5 million, and it's just why. He had 40 points or whatever. And I was saying before, I was probably the highest value you're going to get for him. It would have been a good time to trade him then. I don't think you're ever going to get value for him now at 4.7. That's an overpayment for him, and because he took the $1 million contract, and that's why everybody loved him too. He took a $1 million contract, which was undervalued, to help the team out to stay under the cap, and then. The next year, they kind of overpaid for him for 4 years, and they're stuck with that contract. I don't think you're going to get, who's going to pay for a 30 to 40 point small guy winger? Who's going to pay that kind of money? He's stuck in San Jose for a long time. They really are in bad shape. They really are in bad shape. San Jose, for sure. But, I mean, Kane would be the guy. And look, yeah, Myers struggled now for how long? And who knows why? Why is Myers struggling? I don't understand. I know one thing: Bugner isn't the answer. He hasn't been the answer anywhere he's gone. I never really got. They brought Bugner came up. Bugner seems like the guy that has like a lot of great things to say, but when it goes into practice, it just doesn't work out. Yeah, I could see a complete turnaround. Wilson retire, which I don't think is wise. I think Wilson's fine to do the rebuild here. So yeah, everything's going to change in San Jose. Absolutely everything. I don't see things working out well in San Jose at all. Meyer, what are you going to get for Meyer right now? You're right. Like, I imagine there would be people out there that would take Meyer off your hand and just think that it's a bad situation for him there, because he looked like he was going to be a 30-goal scorer. He's got 7 points. He had 49 points the year before. Somebody would probably give you a first round for Meyer right now. I imagine there's somebody out there. What does this contract look like? $6 million AV. Wow. 6 million AAV, that's high. But I do think somebody would give you a first for him. If you look around the league, there's a team out there that would think that with their, like say maybe the Boston Bruins. I'm just throwing some teams off the top of my head here that have pretty much needed depth scoring. And would think that if they came there, they would be better off. Colorado is always going to be a team for every player because they have so much cap room. If they wanted to add more to their scoring depth, they can give a first. Sakic doesn't seem like a guy that likes to give up his first too easily, so maybe not. But Dallas Stars, Philadelphia Flyers, even the New York Rangers, who, Nashville Predators. I mean, there's lots of teams I'm sure that would be calling to find out what they could get for Timo Meier, even though he has kind of gone into a bit of a dip. What line is most like the Legion of Doom? Oh, wow. That's quite the question. Most like the Legion of Doom. So that would be big and skilled at the same time. I think you got to go with Colorado's first line there when they're all healthy, right? Rantanen, McKinnon, and Landeskog, they're all pretty big. they're all. I mean, maybe they're not as physical as, but they're as big and more skilled maybe off the top of my head. But the Legion of Doom, Florida. Besides that, I don't know if there is one. A team that has all three guys are huge. The St. Louis Blues, O'Reilly. No, that would have to be the line. Do you have another one that I'm not thinking of, but that would have to be the line to me. It would have to be uh, O'Reilly. Yeah, yeah, that would have to be the closest thing to Legion Doom we have. But I mean, nobody's Eric Lindros. That's the thing. I mean, Eric Lindros was the most incredible combination of skill and power I think I'd ever seen. Maybe more than anything I've ever seen. Steele and I were just talking about this a little while ago, and the only other one I would say would be Terry O'Reilly. But Terry O'Reilly doesn't even come close to the skill of Eric Lindros, of what Eric Lindros was. I don't think I've never seen power and skill like that. He was probably the best power center ever. Probably the best power forward ever. Too, I would have to say. I for sure. There's nobody. Gordie Howe, apparently, Gordie Howe is the best power forward ever. But I mean, totally different era. But I mean, he dominated about the same as Eric Lindros did physically and scoring wise. Of course, he had the longer career, and so in that way, I guess you got to give it to him for sure. But as far as at their peak, yeah, it would be Gordie Howe and then Eric Lindros probably after that. Did you guys watch any of the games yesterday? What did you watch yesterday? Whoever's coming in here, come on, sit down and chat. Pull yourself up a seat. Have yourself a bit of a chatterino. Chatterino. I don't have another person to bounce ideas off of today because I'm all by myself. So, let me look at some of the other games yesterday that I watched. Oh yeah. Yesterday, the Avalanche and the Vegas night. I had Vegas winning that game, but I wasn't very confident in it. Uh, Vegas did well, but I've been saying all along, I don't think the Avalanche lose that many games from here on in. Unless they have more COVID stuff happen and stuff like that. That team looks insane. And we were just talking about like the Legion of Doom line. That line, and not only that, just that line up is very heavy, very intimidating. Both. Dirty and scary. Pronger was very dirty. And he was very scary. You saw the end of New York Islanders Buffalo. Well, that was the end. Almost was the beginning for that game. It was the Islanders. The Buffalo had no pushback at all. When in that game there, if I'm a general manager or whatever, I'm going down in that dressing room and saying, if you have a team that is dominating you like that, Somebody drop the gloves and just start throwing them. You got to start punching people. Like, there's no heart on that team at all. Nothing. There's no heart on that team. I think Eichel is not getting any help in that way. And Hull certainly wasn't. Hull's got a lot of heart, but it's very it's very angry. Like, he gets angry at other players. He talks down to them. This is what I've heard. That's not what they need. They need somebody who's got heart to lift them up and be physical at the same time. And I don't think they have anybody in that room that can lift guys up and make them believe in themselves. Pronger was scary. Pronger was, when he was with the Oilers, when we went to the finals that one year, when the Oilers went to the finals that one year, it was, without Pronger, they wouldn't even have been close. He was our defense, pretty much. Rolison played very, very well for us, too, which is often the case. We had no business being in the finals that year, but it was Pronger was the whole defense. I don't think I'd ever seen one guy dominate a team, a whole team, like Pronger did in that series. That was crazy. Yeah, the comeback against the Leafs, and there's a team that is building that identity there, because we had Jacket, nicknamed Jacket, come on here all the time. I don't know if you're still on, Jacket, but he said that they bullied the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they did. They did. They. That's the pushback we're talking about. When the Ottawa Senators are losing, they are mad and they drop them. They freaking give somebody something to remember the next time they play. They tell them, like, okay, you got us this time, but this is what you're getting next time. They give them something. That's what the Buffalo Sabres don't do. The Buffalo Sabres don't have guys on their team, and they had him in Simmons, but they let him go. And Toronto tried to pick up him. Simmons is out right now. But they don't have that. And it's sad to watch. It really is. It's really sad to watch that team. If you're going to be dumb, you better be tough, yeah. What game is that tomorrow? Let me look. I'll quickly talk about the Pittsburgh-Washington game. I had Pittsburgh to win that game. And finally, Washington steps up and plays the game that they know that they can play. If Washington plays like they did last night, every game, they're going to win a lot of games. Toronto, yeah. Isn't that tonight? That's tonight, isn't it? The Toronto game's tonight. Yeah, Senators and Leafs tonight. Yeah, I want to see that game tonight too. There's a lot to unpack in what that game's going to be like. I have Toronto winning tonight. I don't think they're going to go back on themselves like they did in that game. I think they're going to be more prepared for the Senators this time. But, the Senators are going to make them hurt. Well, there's a game tonight. It's tonight. I'm sure it is. Am I wrong? 17th. Tonight. Toronto and Ottawa tonight. Tonight. I just looked it up. Look it up again. 17th. Tonight. Maybe it's probably back to back. Could be another game tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, good, because I just did a whole write-up on it for our Patreon, and now I look really foolish. Tonight and tomorrow. Yeah, that's going to be the weird one. It's a back to back. I imagine you would think Campbell would be in tonight, right? Now that I think about it, it should be Campbell tonight. But they don't have a backup. Oh, I never thought about this enough. Left wing lock, goalies. I think I better. Good thing you brought that up. I might have to change my stuff around for that game. No, Anderson's going to be in tonight. Oh my gosh. You're not going to believe who's going to be in for Vancouver. It's going to be Holtby. Holtby's playing tonight for Vancouver. Calgary's going to destroy them. I got to change that on our... I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, Holtby. I just looked on it. Holtby's going to be in tonight. So Anderson's going to be in tonight. You're right though. That game tomorrow now becomes very interesting because now unless Campbell's ready to play tomorrow, they're going to have Dell. No, they don't even have Dell. Who the heck they got? They're going to have Hutchinson in. Wow, that's a spot for Ottawa to take another one there. If they've got Hutchinson in, yeah, I would say that would be a Vancouver Dallas. So I just posted something on Patreon for that. Yeah, that changes everything. Holtby has just been a bag of crap. Is Freddie Anderson getting overplayed? I think that's part of it. Yeah. That's it's asking a lot for a goaltender now to play as much as he is. They need Campbell to come back pretty soon because Hutchinson's not the answer. But the good thing about Toronto is they can outscore that. You know, they should really just put Hutchinson in against Ottawa. Maybe even back to back and just try to beat him anyways. Although it didn't work. They couldn't even beat him with Anderson in. But they should be able to outscore Ottawa on a regular basis. The problem when they played against Ottawa was when Ottawa started coming back, they started playing back on their heels. And like the Edmonton Oilers or any team that's built like that, you can't go into a trap system. I mean, you're not going to... Toronto's not built for trapping another team. It's kind of ridiculous to do that. It's never going to work. So... I'm pretty sure they won't do that again. Sheldon Keefe they've done that before. In the next game, I've never seen them go back to going back to that again. Especially this year, their corrections have been quick. When you see something happen, the next game they generally fix it and they're right back at her right away. I will say, though, that Ottawa definitely went back and exposed the fact that Toronto still isn't a physical team, right? That's really the issue there. There's talk about Sam Bennett from Calgary. I think that would be a very good move. Guys like Sam Bennett, if they could bring them in to the fold to fill that 6-9 spot. Well, yeah, because they played back on their heels. You're almost always going to get outskated. You know, there's teams like the Islanders that they they can play a trap system, but they're programmed and the manpower they have knows has the mind to skate in that defensive posture. Where Toronto players, it's like their mind stops skating as soon as they think defense. Nylander, Tavares, Marner, they don't they don't. That's not the system that's going to be most effective. So if they, for some reason, start falling into that, or getting scared, or trying to protect the lead too much, you're going to beat them. And Ottawa did, and that's how they did it. So, yeah. I mean, the what? Hello, welcome back. Uh, the Washington Pittsburgh game, that was a game that I found very interesting. I mean, Pittsburgh's defense is really poor. I made a mistake with the game before. I took Washington. I forgot or didn't pay attention to the fact that they hadn't played in a week. But they got their skating legs last night, and they look pretty good. Um, Pittsburgh isn't still in trouble, but they keep on winning in weird ways. They've always been like that, right? Pittsburgh always has been like that. Pearlo dance. Everybody likes the Pearlo dance. I get so much crap for it by some people, though. Like there's so many people that just think it's ridiculous. I don't know how you could possibly. Those are the same people that think that the song "Happy" is a bad song. Interesting game today. Yeah, which one are you talking? Oh, the Toronto game. Yeah, that is going to be a very interesting game. I'm pretty sure Toronto's going to win that one. But see, that's what I mean. The Senators have left a seed in our minds and players' minds and teams' minds that they're going to be a team that's hard to play against. And that's what it's all about. You go into Buffalo and you don't think, oh, this is a team that's hard to play against. I know. Yeah, Holtby is in net, John. The GOAT's here. Yay. Holtby is in net tonight, and Smith is in net for the Oilers. If those aren't overs, I think I stop capping, really. Like, I think people are just surprised because I'm crazy. That's all. Yes, I'm crazy. I love being crazy. I'll always be crazy. To me, crazy's fun. So I'll be crazy. I will be crazy. Uh, what's plus one? What do you mean? They're plus one now. Oh, you mean on? I'd have to look that up. Uh, I don't have that in front of me here. They're plus one? What do you mean plus 1.5? They're. Are you saying that they're getting? Yeah. Well, they're still going to be the underdogs in that game for sure. Nate Schmidt. Nate Schmidt's got to do something. He's got to get that monkey off his back, man. I don't think Nate Schmidt's played all that poorly. He's just had a lot of bad things happen to him. He's just kind of got unlucky. That's the only thing about that game I'm a little concerned about because, yes, Vancouver hasn't played great a lot of the time, but they've also just had a lot of bad bounces not go their way, and they haven't really responded well to that. But those bounces are going to start going their way eventually, I imagine. And, it could be tonight, but I wouldn't be putting, with Holtby in net, they could have their bounces go their way tonight and still lose with Holtby in net. Holtby just looks like absolute hot trash, man. He just looks horrible. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that might be why I don't really get the subs that the goat does. Not to mention he's the goat. People look at it and go, "What's this all about?" But over the long haul, it's too much fun not to do. I just have too much fun. With Holtby and net tonight, yeah, you gotta. I don't know. I I guess you gotta go with them because you can't play Demko every game. They buyer's remorse though, man. I mean, after that, I don't know. You guys remember what happened there when Demko rolled his eyes at the bench and he was basically going like, what the hell is wrong with you guys?" and all that stuff like that. You just can't do that, man. You just can't do that, and that it's and not only that, it's not the only time I've seen Holtby do that. Holtby did that in Washington too, and that's what I was kind of afraid of when he went to Vancouver. In that sense, that you know, I always thought that it looked like Holtby had a bit of an attitude problem, and it certainly makes it look more and more like it when he does stuff like that. Like right in the middle of a game, you call out a player on the bench. You just can't do that. Just can't. Well, I'm sure they're going to have to give him. I guess they really don't have much faith in Anderson. uh, I guess, well, the last time they put him in, he didn't do too well. But they got to give the kid a break. I mean, he played well last game. Uh, I don't know, why is Samsonov not coming up right now? Why is he playing in the minors right now? I don't understand that. The only thing I can think of is like, okay, apparently it was COVID related, the reason why he wasn't playing. So what benefit would it be to go to the minors after being off COVID related, just to feel the pucks, so it doesn't affect his psyche? But I mean, the talent level. I mean, what if you go to the minors and you feel the pucks and you don't save them? And apparently he got ripped pretty good his first game. Isn't that just as hard on the psyche? I don't understand really why they did that. Yeah, I want to watch that game. Carolina versus the Panthers tonight. I definitely want to watch that game. That's going to be a killer game to watch. I think anybody who loves hockey and knows hockey is wants to see if this Florida team can what they can do against a team like Carolina, who has been chewing up the league pretty darn good. Beat Columbus Blue Jacket team down pretty well. That is not easy to beat usually. So now Carolina actually gets some competition too. Florida has been winning a lot. They're looking really good. This is a big game for both of them to really see where they're at. I think Carolina will probably pull it out here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Florida won. Nothing would surprise me with this Florida team right now. He's still feeling the effects of COVID, but he's not COVID positive. It's weird. That's what I mean. That's where it's kind of weird. Is that on at 2 p.m. Pacific time? Shoot, I'm going to pick up my wife from work during that time. I didn't know that. I'm watching my tennis bet not work right now, where Barty got. I had Barty minus 1.5. She wins 6-1 and then freaking falls to crap after that. Yeah, I didn't know that, and for some reason, okay, let me see here. Do I think Kane's still playing out of this? I mean, he's so fun to watch. I like DeBrincat and all that, but Kane brings something that you can't find in the league. He's crazy. I still got to go with Kane. Yeah, it is on at 3. Shoot. I'm not going to be able to watch much of that game. I wanted to watch all of it. Yeah, that's Avatar. How you doing, my friend? As you can see, I'm the only one here. I wanted to watch that game. I thought it was later. I thought when I come back, I could hunker down and watch that game, but apparently not. But I'm still going to catch as much of it as I possibly can. But I still think Carolina will probably pull it out. Um, Carolina has Nedeljkovic in, and I've really liked him this year. Uh, I really liked him this year. I think he's going to keep on rolling. Oh, you're the legend, HTH. Stop it now. Stop it. Stop it. How you doing, John? Welcome to the live, my friend. He's the best American player of all time, for sure. No doubt about it. Kane is the best American player of all time. I've heard Modano and stuff, but no. I don't even think it's really close. I don't know why there would be a debate about that. By the time his career is over, what he's done is cups. Um, he's one of the best all time, period. So, you'll still be at work, yeah. That's weird that they're having it that early. I don't know why. And I hopefully I can at least catch the third period. Yeah, buddy. I guess somebody tells me that I got to Perlo dance more, and then I'll get more subs. There you go. That's yeah. However, I just lost 2 subs yesterday, so they come and then they go. That's the thing when you're doing like picks, like I do every day. If I have a bad a day or two, people get pissed off and they unsub me. But they always come back because I usually do really well. So you had wisdom teeth removed. Oh my gosh, that sucks. I did not know that. A top two, yeah, those are good. All 4 at one time? Holy crap, yo. That's crazy. So you had to go under for that for sure, right? Did they have to break your jaw? I heard that they had to, like, people say that you had to displace your jaw or something like that when you do something like that. My favorite New Jersey Devil of all time. Okay, hot take, everybody. Everybody answer that one. Um, my favorite New Jersey Devil. Not the best New Jersey Devil, but my favorite New Jersey Devil of all time. This is going to sound weird, but Bruce Driver. I don't know if you guys ever knew Bruce Driver. To me, he was one of the most underrated defensemen of all time. That's why he's my favorite, because he's underrated. And I just like to say Bruce Driver. So that would be my favorite. John Madden. I love Madden. Bobby Holik. Bobby Holik was freaking amazing. And then he got way overpaid by the New York Rangers, but you still had to love him. What was your favorite New Jersey Devil of all time? Hot take hockey. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite? Avatar, NHNR? I'll answer that, but you also have to answer your favorite New Jersey Devil of all time one. Saku. That's tough because they're both totally different players. Like Saku was exciting to watch. He was like a Gallagher. If Gallagher was a center, he would be Saku Koivu. I'd probably go with Saku. But Miku was like one of the most underrated two-way. Oh, Niedermeyer. Yeah, you got to put Niedermeyer there too. Shoot, right. Nobody says Stevens anymore. Back in the day, everybody was like Stevens. Eliash. Yeah, Eliash. How about Danico? Danico, the heart and soul. Ken Danico. You unfortunately don't know? Oh, because you didn't watch them, I guess, much. Is that why? You don't know what Avatar? Yeah, Niedermeyer. Yeah, you got to really. His skating was absolutely unbelievable. But nobody says Stevens anymore because you look at the hits that he used to do. I mean, he ruined people's careers. And at the time, they were like, well, you got to keep your head up. But you look back on it now and you realize, no, this dude was trying to kill people. He knew what he was doing. Yeah, that Eliash is a good one. Mullen was there. Claude Lemieux. It's funny, you don't like New Jersey Devils players, even though they won so many cups, they don't really like names don't come to mind as much with them. Morrison, like they didn't have superstar players much. Parise, there's a good one. Parise, yeah, for sure. Most of their known players were guys like John Madden, like the grinder, two-way guys and stuff like that. Uh, Quite often, you forget about their offensive stars. They usually didn't have they had guys that could score all through the lineup. Lamoriello's trying to do that on the island now too. You didn't get into other teams in the NHL until 2020. Oh, okay. Cool. Well, at least you got into them eventually. Well, since 2020, who was your favorite? How's that one? Because I guess there really hasn't been all that much to cheer for in New Jersey since 2020. Well, that's only last year. So I guess it would only be Hughes. So you just really, really started liking hockey last year? That's pretty cool. You know quite a bit about hockey for a guy who just really, really started getting into it in 2020. That's pretty awesome. Subban, yeah. David Clarkson, yeah. The the guy whose career a contract that ruined a guy's career more. He got a huge contract, and I'm sure he's doing fine now. And then for when he was in New Jersey, he was like everybody loved him, and then he goes to Toronto, and he's like the guy that got the big contract. Oh, and then he ends up going to Columbus, going on the IR for the rest of his career. No, I never saw that. The Islanders Spano documentary? That would be pretty cool. Yeah, what is your other sport, Avatar? Are you into any other sports, John? HTH? I like football. I like basketball. I do like baseball, but I mean, I don't, and nowhere near. Oh, yeah, you do like football. That's right. Don't you have a channel, John? A football channel, don't you? Pretty positive. I see. So I've seen that. Yeah, I don't have time for any other sport. I spend so much time with hockey that I don't find I have time to do that. I as I've said before, I watch a divorce-worthy level of hockey as it is. Like if I added other sports, I don't know how other people do it. They must have some incredibly forgiving wives, or they just really love sports themselves. Like the hockey guy that him and his wife do all their stuff together. That's pretty awesome to be able to just basically, he works his bag off, that guy. He's it's fun work, but I mean, he does lots of videos. He does lives all the time and everything, and his wife is right there beside him, which is pretty amazing that he has that opportunity to do that. I never did see that documentary on Spano. No, that would be interesting. That whole time there for the Islanders with Snow and Milbury and all of, like, they were like the clown of the league. I would like to see a documentary on the decisions that were being made there and all that kind of stuff like that, because there's some weird stuff that happened there. When Milbury took DiPietro and then traded Luongo for Oleg Kavasha and it starts with a P. Parrish. Mark Parrish and Oleg Kavasha. My gosh, I remember that off the top of my head. What a weird move that was. That was crazy. And then Milbury apparently was bragging about it to everybody. It was like the owner wanted you to do stuff that was way out there. Maybe it was to draw attention to his team or something, but it was, they made some devastating decisions. Trading for Yashin and giving up Chara and Spezza. Chara was, I think Chara was in the organization, and then their first round pick turned into Spezza. Like, what a devastating trade. And then giving Yashin ridiculous amounts of money. I can't remember how much it was, 6 or 7 million. At the time, it was enormous for 8 or 10 years or something. Or 15 years, was it? I don't know. The DiPietro one was 15 years. It was ridiculous. Oh, message retracted. Okay. Anyways, what other games do we got tonight that we can talk about? Are you doing a live tonight, John? Are you doing a play-by-play tonight, like the Oilers and Jets game again with Smith in net again? Is that a recipe for disaster or what? Real life, catch me if you can. Oh yeah? Oh, was that Spano was the one that bought the franchise, but he didn't have the money and all that kind of stuff? Is that what that was all about? Oh, sweet. Oh, right, your wisdom teeth out. That's right. But we're gonna watch that game. I don't even. I'm an Oilers fan. I have a very difficult time watching the Oilers. It's it's so frustrating to watch. I mean, I'm also a Flyers fan, and I don't. It's not as frustrating to watch the Philadelphia Flyers, but the Oilers, when you have Draisaitl and McDavid, and you can't build a team around them, and you make like Kyle Turris signings, and obvious needs that are not taken care of on that team over and over and over again, and it's pathetic to watch. If they could just have I know it's hard to get a premier goaltender, but with what they did, if anyone comes up right now, I would even take like Fleury was on the market I haven't put my parlay in yet. I hit the parlay last night. Uh, I've hit I did 13 parlays this year and hit 8 of them. But Jets plus 1.5, yeah, that would seem like a fair play for sure. I can't believe they're even getting dog money. Like it's crazy. Uh, I I got I put it in for I got to figure the Jets are going to win. How do you not? I mean, how do you not? How do you go the Oilers right now? How do you? Well, the Oilers could win it, yes, but how do you take them? You can't. After that last game was a must win for the Oilers, and they absolutely just I don't know what they're doing. They need better goaltending, yes, absolutely no doubt about it. But if you're gonna have your team built up like this, you better already have a Gibson or a Kemper or something like that. If you don't, you're screwed. And I gave them. I thought Koskinen was going to be better. I didn't think Smith was going to be their guy they chose as a backup this year. I don't know. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, Bertuzzi has his son's playing now. 8 for 20 is pretty darn good, but if you can be anywhere around 500, you're doing well. Well, how many? Like mine are 3 pick parlays, so um, I usually hover. I usually am about 50%. This year I'm doing exceptionally well on parlays. I'm not hitting quite as well on my singles though. Usually I run about 75%, somewhere around there. I think I'm under 70 this year on singles, but it's been tough this year. There's so many factors to take in. All right, thanks for coming in, NHNR. I'll probably have somebody with me tomorrow, but this is fun. I like doing this. This is great. Yeah. Oh, is it nephew? Oh, is that his nephew? Right. Is with Detroit. Yeah, he's hurt right now. Talking about that, we'll talk about that game tonight. I have a feeling Detroit's going to win tonight. I just have a feeling. It's a gut feeling. I wouldn't put huge on it, but the way Detroit has been out shooting teams the last 3 games, the way they've been playing, improving every game. Anybody that thought that Balsillie should be fired haven't been paying attention because he has really been getting a lot out of these guys, especially this year. I like Detroit tonight. Well, you do parlays all the time. Yeah, I give I give single. Well, I mean, because I have clients, right? So I give them picks, and so I do singles, and I don't actually put money on games myself. So as soon as I start putting my own money on games, I can't pick nothing. I swear to God, I go absolutely to crap. Even though the money doesn't even matter to me much. I don't know what it is. I've stopped trying to figure it out. I've tried to go back to it several times, and every time I do, it goes to absolute garbage. Go Panthers, go. Okay. Yeah, how did you get 6.5 for that? You're okay with that all day. What did you get for odds on that 6.5? You're okay that all day for sure. Did you go with? There's that one called I can't remember what it's called now. Opening. There's there's one called opening. Did you use that? Because that gives you those weird 6.5s. But you're only getting half the juice. But if you're throwing in a parlay, it's beautiful. For sure. If you've got that 6.5 at like a buck 50 or half your money on a parlay, that's gold, man. Gold. Big fan of Gagne. Really? That's funny. Gagne could have had an incredible career, but he liked to party too much. He admittedly himself, he liked to party too much. He could have been. He has wheels like crazy, and now he's gotten older. See, the reason why he's in Detroit, and also Ryan is in Detroit, Bobby Ryan, are both of those guys that have liked the party life and have gotten old enough to say, you know what, you better stay away from that. And Detroit's got a lot of young players, and you know, young players with lots of money like that, like what do, right? So Detroit has Gagne and Ryan there to like kind of give these guys a little bit of nudge and like, you know, you really don't want to go this direction. Sam Gagne for sure. He could have made way more money in his career if he would have laid off the partying. Nice. That should come in. I can't see, that should come in. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is the Hurricanes because Florida scares me. They can beat anybody right now. I think that should come in though. I've got the Canes I got Canes on a small pearls, I like to call it. Jets 1.5. I can't see that not coming in. That would be really weird. I still haven't got the goaltending confirmation on that. Oh yeah, Hollebuck is likely. So I don't think Hollebuck's going to have a bad game like that back to back. Although he hasn't been having the greatest year this year so far. But I think that should nothing wrong with that. Where did you get the 6.5? Do you have the opening app or whatever? Where did you get that? Which app did you get that on? But I'm what was I gonna say? What are they? Oh yeah, Flames and Canucks. The Flames and Canucks tonight. Holtby's going to be in. You might as well throw that on your parlay too, John. Vancouver, Winnipeg with Holtby in net. Smells like an over to me. Over 6. Oh, did I have background? I didn't turn my window capture off. Look at that in the back. That's funny. I didn't turn my window capture off all this time. I just noticed it right now. It actually kind of looks kind of cool like that, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. I'll turn it over under. Okay, cool. That's a good way to do it for parlays for sure. Um, Sports Geeks, McKeel, how you doing, buddy? Just me by myself. We're just talking about everything right now. Uh, we're talking about bets and all kinds of stuff. John was giving us his parlay, and I was just talking about how Calgary should beat Vancouver again tonight. That Vancouver team is, I think I've given up. Now they'll start doing well because I've given up on them. I've been supporting them, saying they're going to come back, they're going to come back, they're going to come back. But that last loss to Calgary, and I know they got a point, but It wasn't convincing enough for me. Go Caps! How you doing? It wasn't convincing enough. They got to start winning convincingly, Vancouver, like they did in the playoffs and leading up to the playoffs last year. They got to find that freaking mojo. I really didn't think losing Tanev and Markstrom was going to destroy them like this. But I think what happened is they had a really brutal schedule and they don't have the leadership to let them know that, hey, you know what, we're fine. They seem like they just don't realize that they're actually not that bad. Schedule's going to clear up. They got over their bad schedule early. If all they got to do is play, get back to playing like they were before, and they'll start winning. They had some bad bounces go their way. I mean, they could still turn it around. I'm doing fantastic, buddy. I am doing awesome. Enjoying talking about hockey every single day for 2 hours at a time. And longer. If it goes really well, we go longer. So you had to go under for that, eh, hot take? I asked you, did they have to break your jaw and stuff like that? That's what I heard that you had to do when you had that many out. Or that's only if they're like certain, if they go so long, right? If you go like a really long time, eventually they'll have to break your jaw. Maybe that's what it is. That's what it is. Mine I got out, like, it wasn't really that big of a deal, if I remember correctly. Like, but all four, that would be something. How did that happen? They just all grew at the same time? They all needed to come out all at the same time? I don't think I've ever heard that happen before, where they got all four. What do you mean by wisdom teeth? Wow. You didn't have your wisdom teeth? You were under, okay. They didn't have to break your jaw. Okay, that's if they grow too long or whatever. Uh, yeah, I did see. I watched the Caps game, and Washington played very well. Good balanced game that they played there. Yeah, impressive. Now that they've got everybody back, they got their legs under them after having a week off and all of that stuff that happened there. They really need to get Samsonov back to strength again. I guess he's playing in the minors till he builds up his strength, which I don't know if I totally understand, but whatever. Getting his timing back. They want him to get his timing back down in the minors. Maybe they wanted even longer look at Vanacek. I think that might have had something to do with it too. Because they want to see what Vanacek can handle. Washington's playing like a team that they're positive they're going to make the playoffs. They're willing to make like certain decisions that are like, yeah, okay, if we lose this one, we're okay. That's what I'm getting from Washington. And I don't blame them because they're stacked. Like they could totally win the cup again this year. I think they could totally win the cup again this year because that's their size up front is going to be so huge for them. Teams are going to be pretty tired going into the playoffs this year, and size I think is going to matter more than ever. And they're big. They're big all over their lineup, except for their goaltender, which is funny. Goaltending may still be the issue there. I don't know what Samsonov's going to look like. Um, you're good for now. Yeah. How are the like? I don't really get to talk to like Washington Capitals fans except for my buddy E Money. Evan, who comes on here sometimes. Uh, but he seems pretty like I don't know how to explain it. Like they don't like their team to lose, but they don't lose their mind about it, and they seem to stick by their team and not like whine and complain a lot. Is that accurate about Washington fans? Not like some teams. Like some teams are. Why did? Yeah, why did you do that? You must have made a mistake, right, Kevin? There's no reason to delete any messages. Yeah, what happened there, Kevin? Bring hot take back. Yeah, the Islanders played well, eh, Kevin? I mean, just like the Islanders do, back to their old ways. But then, of course, that's against Buffalo. So we'll have to see what happens when they come up to some stiffer competition, like the Washington Capitals, for instance, or somebody like that. Because so far this year, they've been beating teams like Buffalo, no problems, but nobody else. It says message deleted by Kevin Serling. View deleted message. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it was by mistake, Hot. John. I think it was by mistake. Kevin hit something by mistake or something. Either that or it was something to do with YouTube, because but it's set up here that Kevin Serling. I don't think he. Yeah, you're back anyways now, right, John? That's all that matters. So, what else do we got tonight? Okay, we talked about all the games now. So, we were one thing we were talking about was the San Jose Sharks and what they were going to do, uh, what they could do to change that roster up, and I don't know. Like, I think that'd be a very good idea. I know one thing. Grice is going to go somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe he won't, but yeah, it was a mistake. I don't even think anybody knows how it happened. Maybe like if he wants to just be a number one goaltender on a bad team for the next couple of years, I suppose he could sign with Detroit. But I really think he went there to show himself off, to have an opportunity somewhere. And Washington seems like that place. It certainly seems like if you look up, I would love it if my Edmonton Oilers grabbed him. Those would be the two teams, I think, the Washington Capitals and the Edmonton Oilers. Um, Assuming Edmonton is still in the playoff race by then, uh, that would be the two teams. I don't know if Detroit's going to want to sign an old guy like that up for a couple of years, maybe, but more than likely, if he could go to Washington and do really well, he might even be able to sign a contract and compete with Samsonov to be a number one again. Um, but maybe he just wants to be a clear number one and bring in that nice, beautiful number one goaltender money if he can get it. But at his age, is Detroit going to throw him 5 or 6 million a year? Probably not. You know, does he want it? What's the max out for Grice right now? Yeah, I don't think Koskinen is that bad, but I mean, it wouldn't be bad for Detroit to have Koskinen. They got Bernier there. I mean, they just need a guy that can stop pucks. He doesn't have to like go out of his head to stop pucks until. I think they're looking to draft one of that Swede this year coming up. That's why they passed on Askarov. I think they're looking towards that Swede Ekfeldt or whatever. Uh, so that would make sense. That's what we were talking about actually. Koskinen and a first. I'd love to be able to get Fabry, although I don't think a Fabry type player is really what we need. We could still throw him on the wing. Probably would produce more than Cahoon, maybe, but definitely Grice. We need a guy that can stop pucks, and a lot, and Grice seems to be doing that right now. So that would be not a bad deal. Yeah, what other forward could there be? Not really anybody I like forward wise besides Fabry. Yeah, let me go look. Making me look. What else would we get for Detroit? Really, what we need is we need guys in our bottom pairing that can score and grind and play with a lot of freaking energy. That's what we need. Detroit. Hey, Bobby Ryan. Why don't we get Bobby Ryan? Yeah, thanks. No thanks. Glendening, yeah, okay. Yeah, we did that with, what's his name there that went to Buffalo? I forget. Sheahan. Glendening's just another Sheahan. Oh, that would be sweet. Caps get Binnington? I don't think so. St. Louis has. What are you going to give up? Samsonov for Binnington or something? I don't know. Like then they don't have a goaltender, so I don't think so. What would you give up for Mantha right now? I don't think you'd have to give up too much. I can't see Detroit trading Mantha now. After all the time took to bring that kid up. But Edmonton's like on the bubble right now. Maybe their first round pick and unprotected. Their first round pick, unprotected. I'm not giving Bouchard. I would give Broberg before Bouchard. They love their Swedes. Their first round pick, unprotected, and Broberg for Mantha. Woo! Mantha and McDavid. I like you. I like you a lot. That would be fun. You're going to give them Anderson for Binnington? Yeah, I think they might hang up the phone. Maybe. Washington will probably give up their first round pick again this year. I would have to imagine. This has got to be a go for it year. Lundqvist. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Lundqvist is still talking about playing again after heart surgery. That would be something. First, Benson. Benson, I don't even think is going to play. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that all day. I don't think Detroit would do that. No, yeah, actually, they would do that. Because Koskinen really doesn't matter. Chason doesn't matter. Broberg matters a lot, and the first matters a lot. The rest is just whatever for Grice and Mantha. Because, okay, Koskinen is basically just making sure you're cap compliant and chase on as well. That's basically what that's for. So Detroit is kind of doing you a favor. Or definitely doing you a favor when it comes to chase on. Koskinen, they do need another goaltender. Koskinen can play for you, so he does have value. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that, but the thing is, oh wow, because the Broberg's a hard one to lose, and if they miss the playoffs, that trade could look really bad. Or if they hit on the first. Oh, that's tough, dude. That's a good trade. That's how you know it's okay, because you're like, oh, I don't want to give up Broberg, but Mantha. I don't want to. That's how you know a trade is actually a pretty decent trade. Because Grice, the problem is he's old, right? So you're getting him for such a short time. Tough one. I think I would end up doing it though. We need. The problem is we need somebody younger than Grice. We need like a Gibson, but who doesn't? Or Kemper. If I'm gonna throw my Broberg out, I'd rather get Kemper, a little younger, a little more. You'll have him for a little longer, or Gibson, or something like that. Really, I would rather do that. But Mantha could be a 30-40 goal scorer on the wing with Draisaitl. Yeah. Yeah, I would put Barzal as elite. First in Broberg is a lot of value, yes. Absolutely a lot of value for Mantha. And it's a lot to give up. It's a lot to give up. It's a fair trade. It's a fair trade, I think. Yeah, I mean, if Grice goes off like he does right now, he's doing right now. The problem is the thing I don't like about the trade is that you have to give up Koskinen, and we still don't have a backup. That's the only thing I don't like about it. That makes me kind of. I almost don't want to give up Koskinen there because he's not bad at a. But I understand why you kind of pretty much have to. I wonder if it's like if there's another way where we can keep Koskinen and give up something else, because Detroit really doesn't need Koskinen back. You know, take what's his name? Take a defenseman off our hands. I know you're gonna laugh when I say this, but take Russell or Larson. I'll give you a Russell. Oh, that would be an insane top line. Yeah, we definitely could use a winger up there, that's for sure. Or you could go Hopkins, McDavid, and Puljujarvi, and then Mantha, Draisaitl, and Cahoon. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. Take, I just told you again. Why do I keep on forgetting his name? Because I wish he wasn't on our roster. Take Russell. Take Russell instead, then I'd be happy. That would make me happy. That would make me the special kind of happy that we all look for in life. For sure, if you were to do that. But that's a fairish trade. You got to do a video about that, Hot Take Hockey. John, do a video about that trade. And then you said you want to get me up to 600 followers. So just shout me out in your video. I'll have like 6,000 followers by tomorrow if you do that, probably. Yeah, okay. I don't know what benefit is that for both though. The Neil and take back to Kaiser contract. Do you think you're getting more value out of Neil there? Because I don't know. That seems like a wash. That seems like a for a funsy type thing. Take back to Kaiser contract, but I like Russell. Yeah, once your teeth are healed, you can do that video. We'll do a video together, HTH. We haven't did video together. That'd be freaking pretty cool. We could talk about that trade. We could just banty it back and forth. You could be Detroit, I'll be the Oilers, and not only that, it's Izzy and Holland going back and forth too, right? So that even makes it more sense. Let's go crazy, yeah. Yeah, that would be crazy. To Kaiser for Neil just to say. Where did you ever think that it was possible we would be losing that Neil for Lucic trade? Like at this moment, we're losing that trade. I never thought I'd say that in a million years that we were losing that trade. Like, it's getting to the point where it's really ridiculous. It doesn't seem to matter what we do, we're losing the trade. And then sometimes it was evident right from the get go. In fact, far too many times it was evident right from the get go. Uh, Wisdom teeth are specific teeth. How old are you? Specific teeth in the back of your teeth. Back. They have deeper roots, and when they grow in, they don't often, they very often don't come out by themselves. They actually have to be taken out because of the length of their roots. That's what wisdom teeth are. So you know. So, anyways, since we're talking about trades, we'll go back. Maybe we should finish up with what does San Jose do? What does San Jose do? Like, is Burns tradable if you keep search it up? Yeah, search it up. Can San Jose trade Burns if they cover for retain half his salary for the next 4 years? And pretty much should they do that? But then they're in that situation where they got a whole bunch of people there that don't want to leave San Jose. If Burns says he doesn't want to get traded, which San Jose must be the most awesome place to live because it's like pulling teeth. Ha ha ha, see what I did there? To get anybody to to go anywhere else. And I mean, Burnsy, it's got to go, right? Uh, that they got to totally like tear down that whole team and rebuild it to nothing. Pretty much, it's the only option. Is there any other option? There's nothing you can do. You got to trade Couture. You got to trade. You might as well trade Meyer now. You might as well trade everything of value for picks, and just turn into an expansion team. Right? If you can do it, convince Carlson that his foot is too bad to ever play again, so he goes on the long-term injury reserve. Trade Jones. Trade everybody. Just trade everybody. I don't. That's the only thing I can think about doing there because you can't really add to that roster anymore to make it even close to a playoff team. There's really nothing unless you could get McDavid or something like that, and even then, I don't know if you would even be there. What do you figure there, John? Burns and Vlasic. Yeah, that does not make sense. Neil, okay. Vlasic is so bad. Russell is just as bad, but less expensive. For some reason, I have a feeling that the Oilers would do that, just because they'd have such a hard on for Burns, passing the puck to McDavid and Draisaitl and playing that offensive style that they have. But yeah, that is a pretty crazy trade, dude. That is a pretty crazy trade. Vlasic is actually more the reason than any that that deal is not happening. No way. 3 to 5 inches tomorrow. Wow, we're actually in Alberta here. We're actually supposed to warm up. We're supposed to get. We're supposed to be almost in the zero at the zero mark. I know you're not being serious, but I'm just trying to think it through, anyways. Well, and then adds a whole crap loads of them too. But the saddest part about that trade you just made is that Larson is part of it. That's like the saddest part of that. That it's accurate that Larson should be part of it. It's just Burns and Vlasic, I think, aren't those contracts way worse than even Neil? Maybe not. Let me look at it. I can't find San Jose here for some reason. Where the heck are they? Blues, Islanders. Uh, uh, where the heck is San Jose? San Jose. Okay. Vlasic. Vlasic's contract is just awful. Burns. Yeah. Those are even worse, I think. Vlasic's has got to be. Vlasic's is terrible. Burns might be able to live up to it. If he was in Edmonton passing the puck to McDavid and Draisaitl, his numbers would probably almost look like they could warrant that contract. That one could be all right. But Vlasic, man, he looks bad. Yeah, Vlasic, no. Vlasic looks really bad. What a worst contracts. We were talking about that yesterday. Skinner's the worst. No, Erickson or Skinner's the worst. Skinner is the worst contract in the NHL for sure right now. Erickson second, I think. Vlasic would probably be right there. At least Vlasic is getting minutes. Whether he should or not, whatever. But at least he's doing something. Vlasic would definitely have to be right up there. But Skinner is the worst. And then maybe Okposo. They got two of the worst. Okposo at $6 million for still a long time. Lucic is making that contract look somewhat decent. Wow. Neil Larson and a first for Burns. I think I would do that. I think I would do that. I wonder if San Jose would do that. San Jose might even do that. Oh, wait. Neil Larson and our first for Burns? No. I'm not giving up a first in that deal. Uh-uh. That didn't click in my head right away. No, I'm not giving a first in that deal. Larson has some value, at least perceived value. Anyways, Larson has perceived value. Burns could be okay. Neil Larson and a second, maybe. Not a first. No. Neil Larson in a second. No retaining, yeah. Neil Larson in a second. I think because I'm giving up more in cap space with Neil and Larson, right? For Burns. That's why you got to throw a first in there too. I hate to give up that first. I hate to give up that first. For Burns, I could use that first for way more than that. I don't think so. I think I pass. I think I pass. As much as I would love to get rid of that Neil contract, that Burns contract could be just about the same. I mean, he's getting old. He's No, I don't think Verana will get traded. I think Oshie will get traded before Verana gets traded. Verana's pretty safe there. Other players will get traded for sure. Yeah, something would. I don't. Depends on how much value you think Burns has right now, and how much value he's going to have 2 years from now. Like, what else can you get for your first in Larson right now, and keep Neil? You're talking about a first at this point that's bubble first, so. Maybe maybe a lottery protected first. Maybe. But and not only that, Burns is still not I mean, now you've got Burns and you have Barry. Like, we don't have anybody in our end of the ice. We're just gonna completely play freaking run and gun hockey and outscore teams 12-10. Oh, Russell, now you're talking. But I'm not sure Larson has much more value than, I don't know, either one. Russell's older. I just think Larson has more perceived value to other GMs than Russell. I don't really think he has actual value. So what I would do is I would try to trade him somewhere where that perceived value is going to. Somebody like Benning in Vancouver might take Larson or something like that for significant value in return. Yeah, you would probably have to be a first, but maybe you could do it and have it be. Oh shoot! You know what? I got talking here. I gotta go, John. I gotta go. I gotta pick up my wife early today. So this has been my full 42%, boys and girls. This has been the Pearlo Wisdom Show live NHL review and talk. I didn't finish the title there. No wonder I didn't have a lot of people come today. And interact. Because that's all we did today was interact, and I don't even have it in my title. Anyways, thanks, John, for coming on. I'll be watching you on your lives. Thank you, Go Caps, and all of you guys for coming in. I got to get going, pick up the little lady, and make some supper and all that fun stuff. I'll be on tomorrow, though, 3 to 5 Eastern Time. Probably will have somebody else with me as well. Don't know who it'll be. Maybe Joe from Pro Joe or whoever it is. It's going to be awesome. Have a great day, everybody. No, I won't be on tonight. This is what I do, these ones. Have a great day. Lots of love to ya.